So apologies from President and Secretary. But at least we do have our Treasurer here, so part of the executive is present. Plus, all of us stragglers who are members of 23 Association with our wives, we're present and we're looking forward to this moment. I would like to introduce now our guide and mentor for this day, Mr. Peter Racy. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you. You can hold that.
Okay.
And just don't talk.
Don't talk.
So everyone, welcome. I won't keep turning around. Today is a very special day.
Thank you. That's lovely. Isn't that great to hear?
And he's actually in LA at the moment, I think, or somewhere overseas. And I am very privileged to be standing here at this beautiful memorial. This Anzac Park has some incredible history. It was the first so named in New Zealand and Australia. And the reason that came about was because the Toowong City Council was very cheeky. In 1916, they named it and then sought permission to use the name, whereas every other council in Australia sought permission and about 3 years later got that permission. So there's a bit of a time lapse between when this was named and when the others in Australia were named. And the history is also further really interesting. There was a local solicitor by the name of Walter Harding, and he lived at the top end of Wall Street. And there's about 5 or 6 houses that occupy the grounds where his house used to be. And he used to catch the tram home and then walk up the hill. He had a club foot, so he didn't serve in World War I, but he was a very passionate advocate for this park. And he planted literally thousands of trees with memorials to World War I veterans and those who had deceased overseas. And he gave the local council no end of grief because, as try as he might to hand water them, he couldn't keep that up, and he wanted a watering system put into the park, and they just refused. So he gave them no end of grief. He was also battling Cannon Garland. Now, Cannon Garland has a very strong connection to this park now. There's a tree on the entrance planted in his memory, or to celebrate the 80th anniversary he passed away. That beautiful structure down there is called the Cannon Garland Overpass. Walter Harding and Cannon Garland are both buried in the Toowong Cemetery. They both passed away in 1939. And Walter Harding had an ongoing battle with Cannon Garland over the placement of Anzac Square. Walter Harding felt it should be here, probably in this very location. But that never came about. And after the Greater Brisbane City Council came about, the activity and the grief that he could cause fell into abeyance. And so therefore, after his passing, it was a very park in a bit of a sad state. And whatever was left behind during World War II was dealt with by the Australian Transport Brigade, and they basically cleared the site for World War II activity. And that then led during the 50s and 60s to the great question of what are we going to do with Anzac Park? And the council bureaucrats decided this is a great location for a Brisbane Botanical Gardens that is outside the flooding of the CBD. And you'll notice the road network. It's almost exactly the same as what you're going to see across in the Brisbane Botanical Gardens. However, bless the vision of Clem Jones, he turned up on site in 1967, maybe this exact location as well, got out on his car, I think it was a Ford Foundlane, spread out the maps, tore strips off his bureaucrats and pointed them across the road and said, that's where it should be. Not 17 hectares here, but 54 hectares across the way. And so our current Brisbane Botanical Gardens lays most of its credit to Clem Jones. And that then brings us up to today, when a new local councillor by the name of James Mackay took over from Julian Simmons, and he was a very passionate army veteran. although I think he served in the reserves. And he organised the planting of the lone pine. He organised the planting of the tree to Canongarland, which was my suggestion. He supported the naming of the overpass to be changed the name from the Toowong overpass to Canongarland overpass. And then when I came up with a suggestion of having a grove in the park here, I had an idea of just a small grove down here to mirror what was on the other side to the World War I nurses. James Mackay, to his everlasting credit, said no, on top of the hill is a far better location. Then the curator of the Canongarland webpage, a fellow by the name of Peter Collins, he was involved all the way through, but when it relocated up here, he became very passionate about it, and 99% of the credit of this park and this memorial goes to him, because he came up with the design, he came up with the setting and the logic. James planted one additional tree to give the circular amphitheatre that we now stand in, and so it's a beautiful tribute because this is a national memorial.
Yes.
We are visiting another national memorial across the way,
Yes.
and in the Toowong Cemetery there's another national memorial.
Yes. Thank you very much, Peter. We won't get people standing for too long.